Okay, peeps, welcome back. So LTCN and BCHG are finally starting to moonshot. Let's get it. So the first thing I want to talk about here is the account. As you guys can see on the accounts, our positions are going up quite a bit. But again, I'm going to reiterate what I said before in the previous video, which is that I think we are only just barely starting to enter into the parabolic phase of the bull run, or we have not even entered into it yet. Okay, we're somewhere in between those two, in my opinion. But as you guys can see, our holdings are the same. So BCHG, we are up a massive 15% on the day. We're up 5% roughly on ETCG. Down a little bit on HZEN, still waiting for a pullback on that one. And we're up a monstrous 20% on LTCN. So up 290% on BCHG. Down a little bit on ETCG, up 12% on HZEN, but again, that's like basically nothing. And up 165% on LTCN for a total combined return so far of 168%. So let's get into the content. So we basically told you guys if we get a breakout above the zone that it's probably going to move pretty quick up to the next areas. We haven't had like a very strong, like a really ridiculous looking candle like this, something like this, or like this one right here. As you guys can see, haven't had anything happen like that yet. If we start getting that, I would say that the parabolic phase of the bull run is on for sure. But it's had a pretty large move so far. So it went from roughly about 26 bucks up to $34. Pretty huge move there. We have one more day to close above this current resistance, and then it will flip into support. May or may not get a back test of this. Really don't know at this point, but pretty much the expectation is that this thing is going to go somewhere between $75 to $135. So pretty big move there. To get to 135 from where our initial cost basis is roughly about a 10x. For those of you guys that got your shares at like $4 or $5, it's going to be a lot more than that. It's going to be like a 20, 30 something X. So pretty huge move. But yeah, it does look like it's going to clear that resistance, and we are getting kind of starting to push above these candles too. So that's also good. It's looking very bullish at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the move here for you guys just to show you guys just how massive this could be. So just to get to the $75 level, you're talking almost 120%. And then to get to the next zone is 185 to 290%. So we're going to go down to BCHG here. BCHG is doing something very similar. Bitcoin Cash is actually, we'll take a look at this real quick, but Bitcoin Cash is actually smashing to the upside again. Look at this, up 12% on the day. So it's at basically about $540 per token. So it's moving. And yeah, I don't think we've even entered the parabolic phase of the bull run yet. So that's actually pretty impressive. So anyways, BCHG is lifting off. It is going very clearly out of that resistance zone here. So I would still say this is support until we get that weekly close confirmation. But as of right now, that's going to be between $10.40 to $12.60 and $18 to $20. So from where it currently is to the zone, not that big of a move, roughly about 17 to 30%. Not a big move in crypto, I should say, but from the zone, it would be roughly about 60% to 78%. So keep in mind, if you already missed out on this move, so you never got in the zone right here, it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, there's endless opportunities in crypto. You could buy native cryptos, you could buy Bitcoin miner stocks, you could buy the spot Bitcoin ETFs, you could buy any of the grayscale trusts. There's plenty of dividend paying stocks out there that have exposure to some kind of crypto like Bitcoin or something like that. So no real need to FOMO in here. Not financial advice. If I was waiting to get in on BCHG, I'd wait for a pullback into here, but it's up to you guys what you want to do. So HZEN still kind of within that flag. Once again, I'll reiterate that the target is way up here at $14.50 per share. or basically about $14.50 per share, but we don't know if it's going to break bullish or bearish yet. We'll just have to wait and see. So current support is still $7 to about $8. Resistance is $11.30 to about $12.40. So from the zone, which the price is currently actually still in, it would be between a 52 to a 66% move to get up to this zone here. If I was gonna start loading up on HZEN right now, I would do it pretty much today because it's in the zone, which is kind of exactly where I would be looking to get in. I'd start getting in right here at the zone. And then if it came down more, I would pile in some more money into that position. And as soon as it got out of the zone and started moving up, I would hold off and just simply hold the position and go buy something else. But that's just me. So ETCG also still in the zone. EMAs, this channel, the trend line, they're all kind of lining up with this particular zone. So a lot of very strong bullish support there, which that support zone is going to be roughly about $13.10 to $15.90. Resistance is $17.80 to $20. So assuming that you get in on the zone, it'd be somewhere about a 15 to 30% move. If you got in a little bit lower, let's say closer to the EMAs, it would be about 30 to 47%. GXLM, this one's looking very bullish. I would actually say that just kind of looking at this, it almost kind of also looks like we got somewhat of a bull flag or bull pennant formation going on here. It's not as noticeable as the other one, but it does kind of look like it. So if we measure this, let's just say it breaks out this week from the breakout point, the target's going to be $90. So if we measure that from where it is right now, and it is within the current support zone, assuming that it, turns into support, it'd be between 52.50 to 58.20, and resistance would be 74 to about $95. So just to get to that measured move up there would be roughly about 60%. However, to get to the top of the range would be roughly about 64%. So pretty good move on that point. If you're waiting for a pullback into this support zone, it's all the way down here at $5 to $11.50. I think the only thing that could make that happen at this point, in my opinion, is one of two things. Either the crypto bear market takes place, which again, I think we're way far away from that. Okay, we haven't even, the Bitcoin halving's not even here yet. Or number two, the yield curve uninverts because the Fed's cutting rates. And history plays out and the markets dump, which again, I've reiterated my stance on this, that I think that because we had a bear market in 2022, the likelihood that the markets will dump, even when the Fed cuts rates and the yield curve uninverts, is very small. Okay, I'm actually expecting a bull run, not a bear market. So ETH, this thing is in my opinion, a perfect buying opportunity right now. It's sitting right at that support zone, right at the exact bottom. So that's going to be $25.60 or $25.50 in this case to about $29 at support, and $40.67 to $47.50. Whether you guys choose to get in now or not is completely up to you. So from the zone to the resistance would be about 60% to up to 88%. Also, there's a possibility here for a cup and handle pattern. So I'm actually not measuring this right. Let me redo this, because it's supposed to be from basically where the neckline is, or the breakout point, down to the bottom of the cup is roughly around where this is supposed to be. So the target on this would actually be roughly about $54, which is much, much higher than the previous high. So if we measure it like that, the move could be as much as 115%. So Zcash, this one does look like it wants to break out. So current support is between $7.50 to $8. The next resistance zone is going to be $14.10 to about $17.10. So this one, again, is pretty close to that potential resistance turn support. So it's a good opportunity to buy right now. Not financial advice. So 68% up to 105% would be the move. GSOL, this one, still very indecisive. I would not buy this. I'll say one more time, if I was going to buy it, I'd buy somewhere between 180 to about 250. If you have the patience to wait for that pullback and you manage to get in at those prices, you'd be looking at a huge, nearly 160% gain, assuming it goes back up to the top, which it probably will. Mana does look like it wants to break out, so can't tell you exactly where the immediate price target is, but I will say that support's going to be between $17.50 to $20 here. So if you were waiting for a pullback, let's say to maybe somewhere between 20 to 23, the measured move up would be pretty large. It'd be about 220%. So what I can tell you guys is we'll do some fib retracements here. This is another good way to measure a possible move. So from the swing high here to the low, you guys can see kind of how this plays out. So the top Fibonacci would be at $77. So that could potentially also be a price target as well. That's something to keep in mind. So 77 from about 23 is a pretty big move. I mean, that's, I think about a 3.5x somewhere in there. So GBAT, very overextended. I would not buy this one. In fact, it does look like it actually wants to come back down. So I'd be looking to get in somewhere around, I'd say at the highest point, roughly about $10. So the move from that point all the way to the top would be almost about a 220% gain. G-Link, this thing is very all over the place. Not really sure where this one's going to go. So I would usually in situations like this where I'm not sure where something's actually going to go to, I just kind of sit back and wait and watch the markets. I don't actually do anything until the market signals to me, okay, this thing's taken off and I missed the opportunity, or it's coming back down and I'm going to get my chance to buy in on the dip. But I would not buy this right now. That's just me. You guys can do what you want, but if I was going to buy, I'd wait to get in at this zone, so about 66 to 82, which again is a resistance turn support. So the move from that point all the way to the top would be, I'd say, roughly about 190%. So pretty big move there if you're patient and willing to wait to buy the dip. PhilG, and again, I want to reiterate, like a lot of these ones at the bottom, in my opinion, are pretty overextended. So if I had been in these from the lows, I would be taking profit at this point. That's just my opinion, and I would move it into something else that's undervalued. But to each their own. Some people like to hold till the peak of the bull run. Some people like to, reposition or whatever. It depends on your style of trading and investing. So which one were we on? We were on G-Link. So yeah, again, I'd just be waiting for a pullback into the zone. I would not buy where it's at right now. Same thing with PhilG. If I was going to get in, I'd probably get in somewhere between, I'd say like this 93 to about $120 level. I would not buy right now. So from that point to the top would be a huge over 300% gain. So that's a pretty big. I'd say that's worth the wait. So GLIV, looks like we might get a close above these candle tops here. So if that happens, then, sky's the limit, so to speak. But me personally, I would not buy all the way up here. So I would probably wait for something like to get back to these candle peaks here at about $26. You can also see we have a couple of wick bounces off of roughly about that $26, $28 level. So that's clearly a very important level there. But from that move to the peak would be a humongous 195% move. So anyways, this is the grayscale trust, mainly LTCN BCHG HZEN and ETCG. And you guys are seeing in real time that LTCN and BCHG are breaking out pretty much just like we said it would. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.